Good afternoon, guys, and happy, what's today? Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. Oh my goodness, guys, am I exhausted. Had such a long day, and on top of it too, football game. 92, I think, or 91, or 91 was the high for today. Oh my gosh, guys. It was crazy. And on top of that too, we got our coach's shirts today. Mine does not fit me. My shirt is like way too oversized on me. So yeah, I'm wearing my coach's shirt, guys. But oh my gosh, today's game, guys. 91 degrees out. We had, well, I'll tell you guys in a second about the outcome of the game. But honestly, it was so stinking cool to see like all of these like parents and like everybody like kind of coming together because of how stinking hot it was out, right? So we had water bottles and we were like, like the, you know, the like water bottle, like football water bottles, you guys know what I mean, like the 6-pack water, 8-pack of water bottles or whatever. We had them filled up with ice water. By like the first quarter, they were completely empty. Parents were going to the concession stands and buying cold waters and bringing over like ice buckets and like all this kind of stuff. We actually brought a cooler full of our like hand towels and stuff like that for the kids to like put on their necks and their heads and stuff like that because they were overheating. Another parent brought one of the tents to like sit under and like to have the kids sit under. It was so crazy, like just cool at like the unity I felt like everybody kind of like shared. And like I said too, like I mean those water bottles too, they were like stinging expensive, and someone was like bought like, I don't even know, like probably close to like $20 worth of water bottles or something like that. It was ridiculous. Like, and like I said too, like people kept bringing over like ice like coolers and stuff like that full of ice water to have the kids that did have water bottles refilling their water bottles with ice. And like, oh my gosh, guys, it was just crazy. So alright, guys, so we started off the game, and like I said, it was so stinking hot out. The team we ended up playing, the Cowboys, so we're the Wildcats, they're the Cowboys, and I don't know if I ever told you guys that before, but Cowboys had 24 kids, so they had enough to sub an entire offense and defense at the, like, you know, at a time, and still have 2 subs. We had 5 subs on our sidelines. We have 19 kids. One kid was there, but he was not dressed because he actually originally, I told you guys, I think, maybe I told you guys earlier in the week that he had a concussion when he fell off his bike. I guess apparently he actually didn't end up having a concussion, but I guess he did have like a cut across his nose or something like that. But he was, I guess he went back to the doctor or something like that, and they were like, oh yeah, you didn't have a concussion. So he wasn't at practice though for most of the week up to that point, and so he wasn't dressed for practice, or for the game. But he was there. And then we had 2 kids that were sick. So out of our 19 kids, 3 of them were not, I guess, eligible to play. So in total we had 16 kids, which means that we had 5 subs. And it was crazy too because Jack had like, now he might have a fever. He might actually have what Matthew had, but he was like, I don't really feel good, like, to start the game off. And my dad was like, Jack, like, you know, it's hot out. Like, you know, he thought he was just complaining and stuff like that, because Jack is the boy who cries wolf way too much, where he said, like, I'm always, you know, my stomach hurts and my head hurts, like, all the stinking time. And honestly, too, that he'll tell you afterwards, though, he was like, you know, like a couple weeks later, he was like, well, I wasn't really sick on that day, you know, like I was sort of sick, or, you know, something like that. So it's always like, you know, kind of like the boy who cried wolf with Jack. You really never know what to expect. So yeah, he was like saying he was sick, but then when he actually came home, like he, I think, took a nap or something like that, because I mean he was beat, and it was so hot out, guys. I think that might actually have what Matthew has. Now he says he has a sore throat, but he also said he had a sore throat like Tuesday onward through the whole week, and like it's still like lasting into Sunday, like a whole week later. Even if it was like strep throat, I feel like unless it was like really bad, it wouldn't have but he said he felt fine yesterday. So I don't know how these, like, he feels bad one day. And, like, then last week, too, he said he was sick. So I really don't know what to believe. So anyways, though, yeah. And then one of our other kids, too, one of the kids has asthma, and he was just, like, horrible. And then finally, after the second half, he was, like, good to go. One of our big kids was just, like, completely gassed. I mean, and on top of that, too, we had parents, like, putting, like, a couple of the parents who were on our sidelines, because again, the park we were playing at was really weird. Like, the visitor side really doesn't have anywhere for you to sit, and there's no shade whatsoever. So on the other side, there is, like, trees and stuff like that, so we could actually be over there, or that's where the majority of our fans sit, because they all have, like, little kids too. And I mean, it was so stinking hot out, guys. Some people were sitting, like, in the almost like the back of the end zone, because were trees down there, but on the visitor side, there's no trees, no nothing. We back up, like, right to a street. So, like, some of the parents, though, decided they were going to stand over there in the shade under the tent, and they were, like, constantly, like, you know, do you need something? They put the, you know, as soon as one kid would come out, they put a towel around their neck and on their head and stuff like that, and it was just, like, again, so cool. But yeah, we had a bunch of kids, too, that were just, like, sick and everything. So anyways, though, this other team obviously had a ton of kids that they could keep getting all the kids breaks. Our kids, we got 16 kids out there playing in 91-degree heat, you know, and it was crazy. So at halftime, the score was 0-14. We were down 2 touchdowns, and I believe they scored they scored 1 extra point and missed the other extra point, I think. Was it 14 or 16? I think it was 14. So they scored 1 extra point, which was a 2-point conversion. So that makes sense, right? Because that'd be 12 plus 2 is 14, right? Yeah. So, my goodness, guys, it's a little late, and I'm obviously very almost suffered a heat stroke. But yeah. So, anyways, it was 0-14 at the half, and we ended up realizing the other team had a ball that is for the not 7th and 8th grade, but it is for the 5th and 6th grade teams. And so there was a big commotion with the referees and my dad, pretty much, because my dad was like, this was a little bit before that, while the game was still going on. He was asking him, like, why are we playing with this ball? Like, that's not regulation. We can't be playing with this and stuff like that. And because we had a couple fumbles at the beginning of the game, and the one kid was like, oh, I didn't even know. Like, he's like, he couldn't get the ball on a handoff, because I think it had a lot to do with the size of the ball, and our kids are not used to playing with that size of a ball, because obviously it's so small. So when our quarterback, like, the snaps was kind of weird, and then our quarterback went to give it to the kid on the handoff and hit him right in the gut, and the kid was like, I never even felt the ball. And so after a while, one of the kids finally goes, I think we're playing with the TDY, and we're supposed to be playing with the TDJ or TDY. I don't know what it is, but regardless, it was a smaller ball, and they wouldn't let my dad go and see the ball to see if it was correct. So he was asking the center, don't move the ball, but tell me what you see out there. And he was like, I can't see because it was flipped onto the other side or something. So finally, we find out it was the wrong ball, and again, there was this huge commotion with the refs. My dad got a sideline warning and stuff like that, and then at halftime, my dad, like, kind of made peace with the referees and stuff like that, and we kind of, I feel like, patched things up a little bit, because they were actually, like, pretty cool after that. Then halftime, our stud lights this kid up, smashes him so hard his helmet flies off, fumbles the football. One of our kids picks it up, runs it in the end zone. We got 6 points now. Then, like I said, they had the ball almost the entire first half, because every single time we had the ball, we were fumbling it and turning it over and all this stuff. We had one where it was almost picked off, but again, there was an issue with the referees. They were like, no, we didn't have possession. So, then there was another problem too with, like I said, one of our handoffs. We did get the ball back, and then ended up, like I said, the very next play, we ended up fumbling it, because I feel like it was because the size of the ball, and it was a smaller ball than we are used to playing with. then we scored that first touchdown. We missed the extra points. We actually we tried to kick the field goal. The snap was high, so the kid who scored, his brother was the one on Friday night who ended up scoring he's a freshman who scored the touchdown to solidify that win on Friday night for the varsity team. His brother plays on our team. I told you guys he's the kicker, and it was almost kind of the same situation where it was a bad snap and he ended up coming around. He almost turned up the corner and almost scored a touchdown. I could tell though he was out and he didn't get that pylon. So yeah, it was super close though. So we missed the 2-point conversion, so it was 6-14. And then after that, we ended up, I don't even remember what ended up happening. We got, I think, marched the ball downfield or something like that. Because the other thing was, too, they kept doing all these onside kicks. And our kids, they would only kick it 10 yards and then they go and get the ball. So we ended up moving around some of that and everything. We got that situated and they were able to get the football then. Because we actually, I think, on both touchdowns, though, they ended up getting the football back on an onside kick. So that happened, I think, on one of their touchdowns, and then when they kicked off at halftime, we ended up switching that around. So anyways, guys, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place here with my story. Anyways, we end up scoring on the next drive that we had the ball. We shut them down on defense. We got the ball back, scored a touchdown off of a pass. Tried to kick the field goal again. Our line kind of collapsed. I feel like there was a little bit of pressure for our kicker, and it was off to the side just a little bit. So it was 12-14. So we're down like just a couple points here. I think that was the next touchdown we scored. I honestly can't remember the one after that. Then we ended up marching the ball downfield again. So we stopped the other team, marched the ball downfield again. We got the ball back. Or, no, actually, I think it was on a fumble. And we got the ball back. We run this play that we had only practiced like once or twice. Oh my gosh, guys. It was just a crazy play. So we ran this play, got our stud in the end zone. He had a touchdown. So we were like, yes, we have the game. All we have to do is stop him on defense, right? And it was less than 2 minutes left in the game. It was like 1:36, I think, because I kept looking at the clock. And so I was like, okay, our defense can hold them for 1:36, right? So we got that touchdown. And I think we might have gotten that extra point, or maybe we didn't. I can't remember. But regardless, so they get the ball. We gave up. We knew they were going to pass too. We gave up like a couple big pass plays, and eventually they ended up scoring. On 4 points at this point. So then, with 10 seconds left in the game, they kicked the ball off. We get the ball back. Then we ran one big play. We were at the 11-yard line, guys. We threw a pass that our heads-up football, guys. This is what I'm talking about how it's just football smart. Threw the football. The kid doesn't make the catch intentionally because he was shy of the end zone. So again, heads up play. He's like he's out there thinking, I can't make this catch, because all of a sudden we see him and he's waving it off like he didn't catch it, and we're like, why is he waving off like he didn't catch the ball? And then we're like, oh my gosh, he didn't catch the ball because he was short, like a couple yards short, and if he would have caught it, time would have expired, because we had 3.6 seconds, I think, left on the clock at this point. And if he would have, time would have expired, because again, he was within that yard line. So heads up play by him, doesn't catch the ball. We run a power football play 11 yards and score, and the final ended up being 24-22 was the final. We won, guys. And a nail biter, literally down to the last, again, like 3.6 seconds, I think, was the final on the clock for that last play. And by, again, a heads-up play that kid would have caught the football and would have, again, not really been paying attention and been football smart, would have ended up costing us the game. It was insanely crazy. Like, I still can't even believe we won it. It was, like, I still can't even believe we won, guys. It was crazy. So hot. The determination of the kids on our football team, again, being, these kids, too, were just ginormous. They probably had, like, on our offensive line, I think they had like 400 plus pounds on us, because their guys, they had like, I think 3 of their guys were like over 200 pounds each. We only had one kid, I don't even know if he's 200 pounds. I think he's honestly less than that. But basically, they had like 3 huge stripers on their line. We had 2, and they're not even really that big of stripers. And then we have these like other small kids like Jack, and like these other couple kids that are like about Jack's size too. And still, we were able to just like come together again in this like unity of like the parents and like the coaches and like the kids and everything like that, to just win this football game in this nail biter down to the last second, guys. I mean, you can't even script a football game like this one. It was crazy. I've never been a part of a football game like that. And on top of that too, in this 92-degree heat in the middle of September, like, honestly guys, oh my gosh, or you know, the end of September, I don't even know, it's fall already. And just like, I can't even believe it. And on top of that too, we had several just like botched plays too. Like there was one where the kid went to go grab the punt and ended up bouncing off him. They got the ball back. There was this other one too where it was a big 3rd down play. The kid couldn't get on his block, ended up getting sacked in the backfield. That was one of the like 3rd down plays right before we ended up running that big 4th down play that got us in the end zone. On one of the touchdowns, like, you know, one of the kids ended up blowing his coverage, and that's how they got one of the long passes. And like nobody got on each other, which is where our kids, I feel like, really take that like mental, they see it like, oh my gosh, we're down 2 touchdowns, game's over. Like that's how they've been playing lately, and they saw that today and we're like, guys, this is a time for us to come back. This is a time for us to make our comeback. And I feel like that fumble and you know, run into the end zone for the touchdown from our defense was like huge way to first off pick us up. I can't even believe it, guys. Maybe I can express my emotions a little bit better tomorrow, but yeah, because it's late already, and I like can't even believe what just happened today, guys. It was such a crazy game. Like I said, this is like something that you would expect to see in like, I mean, again, it was like a movie like that played out in my head today, down to literally the last second, and you win by 2 points. And again, like all these like goofy little mistakes and stuff like that, and like, you know, no kid got on each other, which was some, again, drama we were having and stuff like that. It was like everybody just put that aside and we just went out there and played football, and we won the game because of it. And again against an outsized, you know, we're outsized and outnumbered by a ton. We're also saying the other team was not very classy, because several of our kids said that in high fives they were being flipped off by some of the other kids. And then I heard too, some of the other kids were saying, oh, we're such cheaters and stuff like that, when the other team didn't even have the correct size ball. They're supposed to provide it since they are the home team, and also too because they didn't even have the correct size ball. They had no correct size ball. We actually had to provide one because they didn't. So my dad has to actually report that to the league now, because they're playing with the incorrect size ball. And also too, just like one of the kids too even ran up to my mom after the game and was yelling at her, because like I said, all the parents were sitting on the other side under the shade, which the coach was like pretty cool about. He was like, yeah, you know, if you guys need to sit on, you know, have your fans sit on our side, that's totally fine. One of the kids apparently ran up to our, like where our parents were all sitting, like at the one other side end zone, and ran up to them and was like yelling at all of them, cussing them out, telling them to go sit on the other side and stuff like that after the game was over. And it was just like really just unclassy stuff, and like our kids never got down and never, like, you know, retaliated in any way. And like I was like, you guys are just like very, you know, just very classy about everything that went on and the drama and stuff like that, and kind of a little bit of the dirty play and stuff rose above everything, and again just went out there and played football. And it was like I said, guys, something you can't even write, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. I did get film, but it was on my GoPro, and it was horrible quality because it was in the back of the end zone. You like couldn't even see anything. It was crazy game, guys. A crazy good game. Tomorrow's game will obviously be a little bit lighter. We're actually, I think, going to watch the JV game tomorrow for the high school, because they might be playing a little bit into our practice time, and since we don't have good footage, we can't do film tomorrow. and we don't have a whole lot we can really go over tomorrow. So long story short, it looks like, I think maybe the first half an hour or so we're going to be watching the JV game, which might be a little bit refreshing, but we do have practice tomorrow and it should be a little lighter. So anyways, though, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. I know, guys, today's vlog I rambled on, but I just I can't even get over it. It was crazy. And yeah, I don't want to say we aren't going to win any more games, like, knock on wood, but you know, just like all that kind of like just the craziness and like emotions and stuff like that, even if we don't really do anything else with this season, like that one game was like one of the best I think I've ever watched or ever seen or anything like that. It literally was like me watching Matthew's Super Bowl game back like 5 years ago or whatever, and even to the 2 playoff games before that, because those were huge games too. Like those nail biter down to the last second games were crazy, and it was just a crazy game, guys. I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog, though. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So, bye, guys.